Okay. How's it going, guys? Making sure everything's working. Making sure all the gears are turning. All right. Hey, guys. What's going on? What's up, Harry Mandibles? What's up, Side Effects? How you guys doing today? What's up, Sam Peterson? How you guys doing? What's up, Joner? Oh my goodness. It's another Monday. Hey Matt. Hey Matt. I'm glad you're here. I got your print. Goodness gracious. I can't even talk today. Hey, what's up, Game Boy? Oh, thanks, Sam. Yeah, thanks so much. He's one of my favorite modelers, concept artists. See, I'm not doing good today. Yes, Matt, I got the print, just barely, and it survived the ship, so that's great. Thank you so much. I just need to glue it together. Sorry, Matt. I might be thinking of someone else. I'm thinking of someone else. Holy crap. It's a Monday and I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Matt. It's not you. It's someone else. Hold on. Very similar name. Holy cow. Hey, what's going on over on Facebook? How you guys doing today? Just working on some little details. Hey, what's up, Moonmix? Nelson over at YouTube. How's it going? Hey, Kyle, you're here. Kyle's in the house. Hey, Ronnie, thanks so much, man. Okay. Let's see. I was just doing some tweaks and stuff on these little details. I was trying to put in some support curves on this guy, but I think I'm going to use creases instead. So, goodbye support curves. Hey, Black, I have not. I've been out of town for the last week. I took my family to southern Utah for a while. Rich, yep, right. I always equate it to like Romper Room. If you guys remember Romper Room, saying hello you, hello this person, when she's looking through a mirror. Too funny, too funny. Oh, thanks, Nelson. All right, somebody buzzing me. Hey, Christopher, how are you, man? Nelson, the opening to my my next workshop is coming very, very soon. So excuse me, it's I'll be doing summer registration shortly. So as long as you're on my my email list, you will be notified. Hold on, I gotta put my phone on the ground so it doesn't buzz in my microphone. Okay. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Moonmix. Yep, this is Johannes Helgeson did this concept. Super great. Okay, there's a couple things I want to do to this guy, but I think I'm going to move on. I was working on him earlier today off camera, so off stream. It was mainly colored stuff. So, yep, the Moonmix bot. So there, like I did the stripes on the pants and some gradients and these little just placeholder stripes on the actual collar and his beard and things like that. And I also fixed a lot of his proportions last time. I don't know if you guys can remember, but his legs were a lot shorter, and his arms were too long and his torso was too long. So I took him and kind of tweaked his proportions. So yeah, so this is where he's at right now. And I thought I would work on the dinosaur today. So hold on a second. Let's see. That's where I wanted to be. I was going to hide everything except for the dinosaur. The dinosaur is hidden right now. And let's see. And also I have a gun that I built. If you guys watched some of my past streams, I built his rifle. And it's down here. If I turn live Boolean on, you can see it. It's kind of being hidden by his feet. So, there we go. I need to scale it down now. It's a little too big. Hey, Theory Stuff. Theory, it's actually for both. It's for kicks and giggles, and it's also for 3D prints. So, the goal of this guy is I want to get him printed for the deadline. My personal deadline is for the ZBrush Summit this year. I'd love to get him printed for that. I don't know if it'll be there or not, but I would love to get it printed somehow and bring it with me, or you know, get it there somehow. Last year I had a pirate girl printed that I also built on while I was streaming live. And this one I just kind of wanted to do a bit bigger piece, and I'll show you where the inspiration came from. So a friend of mine, his name is Kevin Keele. I used to work with him at Avalanche at Disney Interactive. He made this original concept right here. And this, so you can see Kevin Keele, he made this original drawing just for fun, and I love it. I love the action, and I love the idea of cowboys on dinosaurs instead of on horses. It's just a really cool idea. And then after this, I was asking Kevin if he would want to do a painting of this and kind of detail out the cowboy a little bit more, and he did. And then he painted this one. So you can see this one. But as a modeler, this is really great. The color on this dinosaur, fantastic, because it kind of looks like a dragon too, which I like. And this is a little bit different design than his original, but the cowboy is still not quite as detailed as I would like it to be. So Johannes was, I love his concepts. And he did the concept for the pirate girl when I did the pirate girl. If you guys want to watch my episodes way back when, I think it was last year when I made her, so Johannes, he was available, and I was asking him if he could redesign or draw this cowboy up a little more detailed so I could actually see his face and in a 3/4 and stuff. And he happily obliged, and that's when he made this guy right here. And he actually made he made this one. He has the original has a dinosaur behind him, which is a little bit thicker of a dinosaur and not quite as what do you want to call it? Spry. You know, he's a little thicker and slower. And I really want the one with the run. So this pose right here. Gosh, I have too many images now. This pose right here, this is the one I want. This is the one where I'm going to actually pose the cowboy that I'm building now in this pose on the dinosaur that I'm building. And I'm going to take some cues from this painting for his coloring and his scales and some of the muscles and things like that. And I like how the saddle is built and things like that. So I'll be using these two concepts for the dinosaur, and then I'll be using, well, I have been using Johannes's dinosaur, or cowboy, for the cowboy. So there you go. There's the backstory for this whole thing. Let's see. I'm going to shrink these guys down. And you guys are answering questions. Yep, Dragonsaur. Oh, thanks, Moonmix. Moonmix bot. Moonmix is not a bot. He's just a very helpful guy. Thanks, man. Looks pretty... Let's see. Curious what's plugged into my Wacom? Oh, these two right here. This is just my keyboard. I have this I have this crazy, I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you guys see this? I have this like Corsair colorful keyboard, and it takes 2 USB cables. It's kind of silly. And what I like it a lot because it has really, really good keys on it. But what I don't like is, for some reason, my pinky won't let off the shift key when I'm doing capital letters. So I do 2 capitals in a row when I'm usually typing, and it's kind of drives me crazy. This is the first mechanical keyboard I've had. So let's see. Curious. Cowboys raiding dragons, raiding dinosaurs, raiding. There you go. All of the things. That'd be a great pose. I think it would be awesome to see this at the summit. Yeah, theory. The thing is with this pose though, the whole thing would have to balance on this leg. So I would have to figure out how to put some kind of a metal sprue into the base so it can actually balance, so it looks like he's running, and that's going to be the trick. So that's going to be, I'm going to have to do a key and actually put a peg and maybe straighten his leg out a little bit more so the peg can go a little higher up into his leg, but you know, without breaking the whole piece. So we'll see how that works and if it does work. Oh, so let's see. Yes, we love Moonmix. I have a gaming keyboard. It's true. I'm a gamer. Do I do more streams outside of the Zbrush channel? I have, but I don't typically, just because I haven't had time. But I do plan on doing some more. But for now, I just stream on Pixelogic. So, oh, does that work with your Game Boy? Does that happen with you? Does it do 2 capital letters when you're typing? Oh my goodness, I'm about ready to sell this keyboard and get another one because I love the keys, but yeah, it doesn't. I would love to know that it's actually happening to someone else and it's not just user error, which that's what I think it is. I think it's just me not letting up fast enough, but I don't know. Does it do that to you, Ronnie? I don't know. Oh, Caitlin, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to have to try that. Yeah, that's awesome. Logitech Craft? Yeah, I know. It's always me, right? User error. It's totally user error. Okay, I need to make sure I'm looking on Facebook. So, hey, thanks, Gennaro. Oh, thanks, Kenny. He was saying my workspace looks cool. Thanks. It's I have it my set dressing. It's only cool from this angle from the camera. Everything else, like my office is trashed. I've got to fix it. Okay, let me unhide the dinosaur here, and then I'll get to some more questions you guys have. Let's see, bunk. So I'm unhiding everything. Thanks for that tip, Caitlin, by the way. Let's see. Okay, so this is a tricky thing. See this arrow on the start here, right here? And I know you guys, a lot of you guys know this, but some people don't. If you click on the eyeball on this that is next to one of these subtools that has a start on it, it kind of acts like a visibility group. So you can hide it and show it all at once, okay? But the only time that won't work, it looks like my ruler is part of that start group. I'm gonna make my ruler have a start on it as well. How you get that start arrow is you just click right here. So this little down arrow, you just click it and it turns into a start. And that just means it's the start of the next group of that subtool group. And it works really well with live Boolean. So that's what it's meant for. So you can group things saying, okay, this is being subtracted out of this group, but I don't want it being subtracted out of this next section. So you can kind of lock off what gets subtracted from what or grouped with what. And that's what those start arrows are all about. So if that makes any sense, let's see. But the only time it doesn't work is if you actually have that subtool active. When I say that it doesn't work, meaning the hiding and showing of that group won't work if you're actually on, see how I'm making this first subtool active? if you're actually on here and you hide and you show it, it will not hide and show the entire group. So you have to have a different subtool selected, like this gun. So you can see the gun. Anytime you select a subtool, it's going to show that subtool, whether it's hidden or not. But now I can click on the start menu and hide and show that whole dinosaur, and the ruler button, or the ruler, is not being hidden because I actually clicked on the start arrow for that. I'll just turn that off. And now you can see the gun, and if so now just my dinosaur group is showing, and I can click on his head and just start working on that. Okay. I know that was a totally confusing thing. That's totally confusing. But it's just a way that Pixelogic is trying to group subtools because there aren't groups yet. So inside the subtool list, everybody is asking for groups inside the subtools. So they've done a couple things to kind of help us out in the meantime. So one of those things is this right here, which is transpose all selected subtools. That's one way to manipulate several subtools at the same time. That's one way. And the other way is just with this start arrow. That's just essentially kind of a light way of grouping subtools together. And then there's an external plugin that you can get. I can never remember the name of it, and that will help too, but it's kind of buggy, but it's really nice. I don't have it installed right now, but it's a nice way to see all of your subtools in one big giant list, and you can see if the layers are turned on or if dynamic is turned on, all different kinds of things. And it's not an official plugin, but it's one that someone wrote, and it's really nice. So, okay, let's see. Yep, poor man's folders. For sure. Hey, what's up, Craig Kelly? Let's see. I'm new at ZBrush, like I just downloaded and haven't used it. I can't wait to make impressive stick model 3D meshes. yeah, try it out. Just get sculpting. That's the best way to learn, is just to do it. Get going. Let's see. So you were just confused about the Boolean functions. Yeah, the start thing will just basically say, okay, subtract out of this but not this, and that's all that start arrow does, besides allow you to show and hide things within kind of that group or that list. So I used live booleans on the gun here. Okay, so if you watched my stream a couple times ago, I actually used live booleans to cut out these two rectangles right here. See these two rectangles? So if I were to turn this start arrow off, it doesn't... Let's see. I have my dinosaur. I have my dinosaur showing. Let me just show you really fast. Okay, so here's the rifle. And if I turn off this start arrow, you can see how it goes away? And what's making that go away is if I turn live boolean off, it's this shape right here. This object, the reason I made this object is because I wanted to chop that lower barrel off at a 45-degree angle. So instead of modeling it, going in there and modeling it by hand, I just made this big box that was already at a 45-degree angle. And then I can turn on live boolean and make sure that that is set to subtract, which is right here. And that now subtracts that piece right there. And if I don't have that start arrow saying only affect anything below the start arrow, if I turn that off, it's actually going to cut into the upper barrel as well. So that's kind of what I was trying to explain with the reasoning for those arrows, to separate groups out and say, okay, cut this but not this, if that makes any sense. I know it's a total mess, but you know, it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. Okay, so I hope that makes any sort of sense whatsoever. And I said I was going to work on the dinosaur today. Exoside.com. Oh, is that the manager? Master, the desk? Okay, cool, thanks. And let me know if you guys have any questions while I'm working on this stuff. I'm happy to answer questions. Okay, so this, you can clearly see I'm kind of modeling this dinosaur that Kevin Keele has designed down here. And he still needs claws, and he needs to be combined. But I chopped his head when I was making this head early on. Subtools kind of have a soft cap when it comes to polygon count. And when you're creating creatures and animals and things like that that have an entire body all connected, you want to look for ways to chop things at cut points, like say the head from the body, where it makes sense. Because say if like I kind of typically think of a soft cap on my subtools. I like to stick to around 1 million and cap it at like 5 million. 5 million is starting to push it. So if any one subtool of yours starts to push that 5 million mark, you want to start looking for ways to chop your model up so you can get more definition out of each subtool. Because if you cut the head away from the body, I know that sounds gory, but if you make them two separate subtools, now your head can have 1 million and your body can have 1 million, or your head can have 5 and your body can have 5. Just that's kind of the bracket I like to sit in my subtools, because that gives you enough definition where you can do poly painting on top, or you can cut in details into the surface. And I don't divide that up until the very, very end. I like to stick with dynamic subdivisions for as long as I possibly can. And dynamic subdivisions is just a way of previewing your mesh. See, let's see if this one has. Yeah, this one does not have subdivision levels. You want to check before you turn on dynamic subdivision. Right here, you want to make sure that it doesn't have any subdivisions first. So then if I hit D, it just kind of smooths it out. But I want to recut this head at the this leather strap part, because right now, you know, it's right here and it's visible and it's ugly, so we need to fix it. The Reason 32 core, right? Is polypaint in layers supported in the new version of... I still, Red Clay, I still avoid layers. It is... Polypaint has been supported in layers for a long, long time. It's just the way layers work is not the way you would expect them to work. So they're a little difficult to manage sometimes, because sometimes you just get lost and you don't know what's going on. Why is this doing this thing? And instead, I just keep layers. This is me personally. I only use layers for trying stuff out that I don't know if I'm going to keep, or if I'm doing details that maybe I want to increase eventually or decrease eventually. So like say for this dinosaur, say if I wanted to do scales, I may put the scales in a layer, because that way I can then duplicate that layer, which would then increase the value on those scales, like the depth of them. Or maybe I made them too heavy, and a good way to decrease that detail is just to use the layer slider and turn them down. But yeah, poly paint in layers is kind of tricky, and I would avoid it if I were you. So there. Hey, what's up, Frederico? How you doing? Let's see. When you make your primitive block out, do you Z-remesh first and then remesh by union, or remesh by union first, then Z-remesh? That's a good question. I actually do, while I'm blocking out with primitives, I will Z-remesh those primitives if they get too stretched, if they get too pulled and the geometry starts to break down and gets broken. I will Z-remesh that. And what he's asking is, when I Z-remesh by union, which is essentially, I used to use Dynamesh to connect my objects together when I'm blocking stuff out. But now I use Z-remesh by union, which is now underneath the gizmo, which is, I'll show you right here. If you click on this gear, I've shown it in some past streams. You can see right here, remesh by union. that is kind of the new way that I combine my objects now, which is super slick. I like it a lot. Then after that, I will Z-remesh again, is the answer to your question. Just to make the surface and the topology nice and flowing along with my modeling. So hope that answers your question. Okay, let's see. Okay, so now I made this head cut early on before I knew where this leather band was going to go. So essentially what I want to do is, I'm trying to think, I want to reconnect this piece of this neck. Okay. Mr. Really Real, that's a great name. Are you though? So do you not use Dynamesh as much anymore since that new Z-remesh feature? I honestly don't. So it's not gosh, sorry. I'm getting some stuff popping up here. Real is your last name? That's awesome. Okay, so what I do is, yeah, I used to use Dynamesh and I still do occasionally. It's just less predictable. Like nothing is completely 100% predictable when you're Z-remeshing or Dynameshing or doing any of those remeshing type algorithms, as it were. So you just kind of have to guess and do your best. But the remesh by union is much more predictable than, like, say, Dynamesh and things like that. So it's right here. It's just called, if you go into the gear, it's called remesh by union. Here, I'll show you guys what it is really, really fast, okay? So if I go back to my ruler file and I have this sphere, I'll just show you really fast what it does. You just duplicate it, boom, like this. So now I have two spheres in the same subtool right here, and they are not connected right here. So what I would do, I'll duplicate this, so now I have two, and the other one's hidden. So what I would typically do is I would subdivide this. So Control D a couple times, subdivide it. Then I would do a Dynamesh to combine those things together. So you'd have to delete the lower resolution inside your geometry. Then you'd go to Dynamesh right here, and then you just hit Dynamesh. Then now these two objects are connected, and off you go to, now your objects are combined, and you keep sculpting after that. Well, then I would take this Dynameshed mesh and then Z-remesh it. So let's just go change this to 3 and hit Z-remesher. And there you go. Now it's a Z-remesh cleaner mesh, okay? That's kind of your result from that. But now what I do is I go to Z-remesh by union, which is now under the gear. Remesh by union, click that. And you can see what it does. See how it connects the two spheres together, but it doesn't Dynamesh it. It doesn't do anything. You don't have to subdivide it or anything like that. Then you go to the gear and hit accept. Now, what I typically do is I subdivide this. Okay, so it kind of looks like this, and then I Z-remesh it. So you have to delete the lower. Then you hit Z-remesh. I'll change it to 3, and let's see. Our results might be the same or different, or it's quite similar. It's just two different ways of doing the same thing. So there's the Dynamesh one. I guess it's a tiny bit cleaner, and there's the remesh by union one. But once you get, so this was on a very low resolution sphere, but once you get semi-high resolution objects and you do Z-remesh by union, I typically will not subdivide it. I'll just Z-remesh it, and I'll leave that part out. So that's kind of the reason why I like to use the Z-remesh by union. That's pretty much the only difference. So anyway, I hope that kind of explains it. Let's see here. I'm gonna turn off dynamic. I'm actually going to Z-remesh this guy. It looks like it's all triangulated and weird, but okay. Hey, what's up, Bjorn? Greetings. let's see. That's what I have an issue with too. Just haven't played around with 2000 yet. Oh, am I missing? Zero mesh by union. Yep. Okay. Sorry, catching up on comments here. Side effects. All right. All right. Okay. This is what I want to do. I want to take this head, and you can see that I've done some. I'm turning live Boolean off so we're faster. I've done some Sculptress Pro to this head, and I want to keep it as it is. I don't want to change anything. But I want this section of the neck because I'm going to add it to the back. I'm going to add it to the rear of this guy. So what I want to do is I want to duplicate this head. Okay, so now we have two heads. I'm going to let's see. I don't want to hide that. I just want to cut it right at this this neck piece right here. So right like trim curve. That'll do it. Okay, so basically I just cut this neck right here, just like this. So you can see it's kind of a piece. Then we have the body right here. And anytime I do something like this, I just like to duplicate. So if I accidentally mess it up, it's not lost forever. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this. Then I'm going to hide the original body. Now I have the body and I have the neck, but this neck has a hole right here, right? So I'm just going to fill the hole. So just go to where is it? Close holes right here. That's just going to close the hole. And this is going to look kind of not good until I smooth it out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure there aren't any subdivision levels on either of these things, and then I'm going to merge it down. So let's go. Where are you, merge? Sometimes I get lost in my own menu. So, okay, merge down right there. Okay. Now we have kind of this seam between here that's closed. But it's not closed. There's actually geometry inside there. So this is a good case of where I would actually use Dynamesh to do this rather than the union, because there's like a small chance that it's going to create some internal geometry that's not going to be the best, right? So let's do this merge, and I'm going to do it again because it's like each time you want to make the next step, the point of no return, you're going to want to duplicate it. So then I go back and I delete all the other pieces after I do that. So let's duplicate this, hide the original, and then we're going to Dynamesh. But we're going to Dynamesh using the new remesh by Dynamesh inside of the gizmo. Okay? So let's see. Am I missing some? Okay. Oh, thanks, Side Effects. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Okay, so I want to, let's see, target polygon count. I'm not sure if this works with symmetry or not, but I'm going to try it, turning symmetry on, because typically when you do something like this, it will have specific cones for symmetry. So this one, I guess Z-Remesh by Dynamesh. I don't use that much, so I'm not used to it. But this will allow you to reproject, so that will take the current state that it's in and reproject it back on top of this one. I'm going to try it without it first, and then here's your smoothness. If you need any smoothness, I typically leave that at 0. And then here's your polygon count. So currently it's at 5,000. Let's see. I want to make sure I didn't. This could crash ZBrush, so I'm gonna be delicate with it. Okay, nope. Okay, I just tried it at 9,000. That's not near enough. I need it to be closer to. Let's try it around 200,000. Let's try that. There we go. That's better. See, I love the fact that you can actually grab that cone and just fine tune it rather than like guess, go back, back and forth. Because every time you do that, it actually will kick you back out of Dynamesh, and you have to mess with the settings every single time. So this is super nice having this it's like a slider. It's like having a slider that is represented by a cone. Okay. So this is exactly what I'm talking about, where it's kind of messy right in the neck here. I just wanted to look close before I committed. So now I can grab this gear and say accept. Okay, so here's accept, and we're good. It did make some anomalies here, but that's okay. We're just going to come in here and smooth them out. Easy peasy. Just like this. Okay, now this is a Dynamesh mesh, and before I use ZRemesh on this thing, I want to finish out the fingers and the toes because they're still kind of hanging, kind of not finished. Okay, Cintiq versus Intuos. My comment on that is get whatever you can afford at the time. Don't strap yourself. Cintiq doesn't make you a better artist. Okay, I would just get a tablet of any kind, even a bamboo, a Wacom bamboo is good enough. Whatever you can afford at the time. So the reason I have the Cintiq is because I kind of worked up to it, and I traded up and I saved every Christmas until I was able to get this for myself. So I started with a little tablet. I started with an Intuos 1 way back in the day. It was just called a Wacom tablet. It wasn't even Intuos. It was like kind of a gray color. It was old and nasty. Anyway, that's what I started out on modeling with, and then I just kind of slowly graduated up to using this thing. So I prefer a Cintiq for sure. And the only reason I prefer a Cintiq is because it's direct one-on-one relation with what you're sculpting on. Yes, your hand does get in the way when you're sculpting, so you kind of have to do things like this and this, but it will speed you up in the way that you will only have to kind of do a stroke one time rather than, try it once with your tablet or a mouse if you're using a mouse, and using lazy mouse and trying to get that curve to be just right. A Cintiq will get you there quicker, and that's about the only way it really speeds up your workflow. Is it doesn't make you do the same stroke over and over again to try and get it right. So anyway, yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. So just don't sculpt with a mouse if you can help it, okay? You'll see me using my mouse once in a while just to kind of select things and move things around. But when it comes to actually sculpting and putting down strokes, I never use a mouse. Okay. Let's see. And you know what? Honestly, some people prefer a tablet because of the whole, yes, my hand is in the way. Or, they're used to it and that's what they know, and they just can't quite get grasp of a Cintiq. And that's completely fine. Whatever works best for you. And you'll save some money too. Because these are not cheap, that's for sure. Okay. So let's... I kind of want to just look at this hand and see how it's built really quick, because I really like the way Kevin has done this. I'm going to delete this one for now. Increase this just so I can see that hand. Since I'm not working on the cowboy anymore, I'm going to delete that. And when I hit delete, it's not deleting it, deleting the image. It's just deleting it from Spotlight. I can still go back to texture, click on the image right here, click on this up and down arrow, and it'll pop back into my Spotlight. So that's just kind of deleting it out of the way, so to speak. Okay, so let's see. One thing I don't know about my Cintiq too much arm and hand movement going to the menus. I prefer using tablets. Yeah, that's another thing. And a lot of people, they prefer like the different size Intuos tablets as well. Like I'm used to the little 12-inch one because of that reason. I don't like to move much. You know what I mean, as far as that goes. And when somebody gave me one of those big tablets, I actually didn't like it because I was going all over the place. And Cintiq, I have to go all over the place, but that's kind of why I've set up this the menu the way I have, this user interface the way I have, is so everything that I use most often is here on the right, and my brushes are down here, and I hardly ever go up here. This is all informational stuff. That's why it's kind of shoved up in that corner. It's just, I don't hardly ever go over there because I'm right-handed. I should make this user interface for left-handed people and kind of swap it. But this is essentially a user interface I made for myself, and then, you know, I give it away for free. So, and that's also why I made this menu. I can put this menu anywhere I want, and it appears right underneath my pen. And I put the hotkey to the back button on my pen here, so I can just make it pop up, and you know, I'm one-handed, just you know, doing this thing. So it's really cool. Hey, what's up, Mortar? What's going on, man? Okay, this is my headless dinosaur. I should show that head, and I'm gonna cut that neck piece off of the head now, and it'll be chopped right at that leather strap. Yes, the cowboy continues. Ban me. Oh, too funny. Let's see. Have Wacom made the 32 Cintiq available? Not that I know of. Why does Dynamesh create holes when I use it? It's just part of the algorithm. What you can do if you do have holes is use the inflate brush on that hole. Well, first of all, you can try a higher resolution. That's one thing. You know, more polygons in your Dynamesh. The second thing is, if you do have a few holes, just take your inflate brush over top of that hole so it kind of closes the hole up. Then run Dynamesh again, and it should fix that problem, and then you can smooth it right away. Then, but it just kind of something that happens when you Dynamesh. It comes with it. Okay, when I get my new computer, I'm going to shift ZBrush over to a large screen. That way, with my regular tablet, you can have a large. So yes, and also think about this. If you have two screens, make sure whatever screen you have ZBrush set to, that your tablet is set to that screen. Otherwise, it's going to go across the entire. It's not going to be the ratio is not going to be correct. So you need to have your ratio be the same as your screen on your tablet if you're going to be using a tablet. And you can go in and set that inside the Wacom settings. Otherwise, you know, your width is going to be stretched across two screens, and it's going to feel really fast and not correct. You're going to have a hard time sculpting. So make sure you restrict it to one screen. Let's see. Use your remote in the UI and everything on it. Awesome. Oh, you did? You modified the UI? Cool. Yep, and some of the Matt. Yep, Matt has some good ones too. Let's see. Hey Bjorn, I have not seen Johan. I might have. I have to look. Mortar, you crack me up. Noah, no, if you can direct people to get that ruler, that's the best. That would be fantastic if you could. Okay, and I was going to do a demonstration. I wanted to do it a little later on in the stream, but I wanted to do a demo of how the ruler works going back and forth between Maya. I actually have Maya open right now. Right here, this is Maya, and I was going to show you how to export something out of ZBrush, get it into Maya, the correct scale, and then get it back again so you guys can see it. But I'll do that in a little bit. So don't let me forget. Copernicus, can you use iPad Pro with ZBrush? Not yet, I'm afraid. It would be awesome if that would happen, but it's just not quite there powerful enough. Mapping in the Wacom control panel. Oh, thanks, me. Yep. Mortar. Don't ban me, Mortar. Too funny. Congrats on being a moderator. You should change your name to Moderator Kaner. Oh, funny. Okay, here we go. Why aren't my messages showing up? Go down. Okay. Hey, what's up? Hey, people over on Facebook. There's like 40 people on Facebook. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Let's see here. I just want to finish off this neck. We're just going to chop this guy right at that neckline. Bonk. Now, sometimes this happens where you do the cut and it doesn't disappear like it should, but it's still cut it. So sometimes you just have to turn on your polyframe. Now you can isolate what you want to keep and then delete hidden and then do close holes. And let's see, Moon Mixer, you were talking about, oh, the spotlight thing. You wanted to show people how to do the spotlight, right? Does anybody want to see how to do spotlight? Moderator to Yep. Oh, man. Ruler works good between ZBrush to Unreal Engine? Yes, it should. It should. Okay, I can show you that really fast. So, okay. Here I have the ruler. This is the ruler. And you can get this over on my website, 3dcharacterworkshop.com. That's where you can get it. You just sign up for my newsletter, and then you'll be able to download this user interface, all my brushes, and this ruler file. So the special thing about this ruler file, I'll hide this for a second, is if you turn on the floor grid, I've changed this floor grid to match the ruler, and every grid line matches one of these ticks. And these ticks represent centimeters, okay? But since it's metric, you can use it in tens, okay? Because that's what the metric system is, it's in tens. So you can actually think of this as a millimeter ruler as well. If you're gonna do some 3D printing, you can think of it as a millimeter ruler. So this is a ruler that could possibly be 200 millimeters tall or 20 centimeters tall. Or if you're going back and forth between Maya, you can think of it as 2 meters tall. You can use it like meters as well. So basically 10 is 1 meter and 20 is 2 meters. And that's kind of how it's set up to go back and forth. So yes, Bridge, I wish it did as well, man. Okay, so a thing that you need to know about going back and forth between something like Maya is I will typically use either OBJ or FBX file formats. I typically won't use GoZ because it does some scaling of its own behind the scenes back and forth. It tries to help you do what I'm going to show you, but it's in my opinion, it's a little less controllable. So I like to do it this way instead. And the difference between OBJ and FBX is OBJ will give you one object at a time, one subtool at a time, I should say. So you can export one subtool at a time. That's the restriction, but it will come with polypaint. So if you're wanting to bake the polypaint in some other program like Marmoset or something like that, or inside Maya, you will actually bring the polypaint along with you in the OBJ file format. FBX is, to export OBJ format, you do it right here, export and import. This is import OBJ, export OBJ. And if you want to export FBX, you actually go to the Z plugins, and I have this mount, all my Z plugins are mounted over here. You can find it right here in the menu, right here, but I've mounted it over here. And if you go to FBX import export, it's right here. And FBX will allow you to export multiple subtools at the same time. So if you want to do that, it's just a little more finicky than an OBJ. An OBJ is solid, and FBX is a little buggy. It can be. And make sure you kind of roll back the year. It sounds funny, like you're rolling back the year of a car or something, but roll it back to at least like 2014. Then if you're going to another program, it's more likely that it's going to work. If you're having FBX issues, opening them up in a different program, just try different years. And you do that by clicking on this button. See how it rolls through? And I find that 2014 works the best. But we're going to do an OBJ right now. One more thing you need to know about OBJ is ZBrush likes to keep groups, and I really don't understand this part of it, and I don't know what kind of groups it's trying to keep, but something behind the scenes. I've asked the guys at Pixelogic, and they said they just need to have this there. They can't get rid of it or turn it off by default because of how it works. So instead, what you have to do is you have to pull this group button up onto, well, I've pulled it up onto my interface, but you have to turn it off on every single subtool if you're going to export it to a different program. That's why I've put it up onto my user interface. See this group button? Yep, the vertex group. So I click it and I turn it off right here. Now I can export without problems. If you ever find your OBJ when you bring it into another program like Maya and it's all broken up into shards and pieces, most likely it's because you forgot to turn that group button off. And where you find the group button, if you don't have it on your user interface, is underneath export, right here. Export GRP, right here. That's export subgroups. I don't know what they are or why they exist, but just notice, or just know that they're there. Okay. So, yep, you can use Subtool master export, but it still makes single files for every OBJ. It doesn't pack them all into one file. So what Diogomon is, sorry, I can't say your name right. What you're saying is underneath the Z plugin, there is this Subtool master export right here. But it also does not allow you to turn off group on every single thing. But there are scripts out there that you can find that will actually turn the group button off for every single subtool. You can find it. But this is nice because you can export everything. And then you can also combine everything into one big giant OBJ. But there's a lot of times when you want to have them separated, like if you're going to be doing baking or exploding your models away so you can do baking, anything like that. You won't want one object that contains every single OBJ. Okay, so, okay, I'm just going to show you this really fast. I'm just going to export this and just to my Twitch, to call it ruler, save it. I'm going to come over to Maya here, and I'm going to go File, Import. Let me see, Import OBJ. And I'm just going to go to the same where I put it under Twitch. Here's the ruler, and I'll open it in here. And okay, it's right here, but you'll see that the grid is really small down there. So what I have to do is go into Windows, Settings, Preferences, go to Settings, and I need to change this from centimeters to meters. And that's what game engines are typically set in, okay? And you'll see, it's hard to tell, but this ruler is 2 meters tall inside of Maya. And you'll also notice if you click on the ruler to see the geometry, I've also put spans in here at every single centimeter or cut, if you will, like this. So now a typical human size is just under 2 meters tall, right? And now you're working in meters, and you can go back and forth between Unreal and that kind of stuff. That is how you can kind of get your scale to work in both Maya and ZBrush and go back and forth. Just use this ruler that I made. So I just wanted to show you guys an example of how to use it, so you know, just a little bit more detail for you. Okay, so there's that. All right. So I hope it helps you guys out. Oh, thanks, Mortar. All the links. Over the coming year, I'm going to be working with a new games company called Create in MMO. I'm going to be in charge of developing stylized characters. What advice do you have for creating your own style? Hey, Scruffy, thanks for the question. My advice is to kind of work with the company and figure out the look and the feel that you kind of want to aim towards. So the best way to do that is to go on, say, like Pinterest or just a Google search or something like that, and kind of make a big reference file or a Pinterest page or something like that, and just start loading it with images that you that would work or fit, or maybe this image has this thing or this image has this thing, that inspire the design, you know, that'll help push you towards coming up with something that's maybe a mixture of all these different things, and you end up, you know, with the style. That's kind of what we did with Infinity, is we just kind of worked together. We had so many different concept artists, internally, externally, all working together to kind of come up with what Infinity became in the end. And it just kind of was this gigantic collaborative effort to get to where we ended up. So I hope that I hope that helps you. Let's see. Slightly more interest. Yep. So you just use that as reference and inspiration. Don't copy it directly. Just kind of use it like, well, this is kind of the level of detail that we want to hit, you know, and then pick from something else and just kind of put them all together, and then just start coming up with your own style. And the best thing to do is to get a really good concept artist to help you come up with that. Trying to make that in 3D, you know, trying to come up with that style in 3D, it's going to take too long. So it's better to do it in, you know, in concept, in two dimensions, unless you're good at drawing yourself, which I personally am not. So, okay. I've been talking too much. It always happens. I always get yapping way too much. But I really appreciate the questions. So don't let that deter you from asking questions. Oh, it has Doctor Strange. That's awesome. I'll have to let... I think somebody told me that. That's cool. At least it's out in some form, right? I'm gonna bend this way down, and I'm gonna add these kind of little fingers before I put the fingers on there. Okay, and if I missed your question, please feel free to ask it again. The chat's going by pretty fast today. Oh, thanks, Moonmix. Yep, you can also follow it on, I'm trying to remember, zbrush.com/zbrushlive, I think, something like that. You can see there's links to my past streams and stuff like that. And my schedule. Okay. Hands are better than ears. Did I see the Funko Gears of War game for smartphones? I have not seen that. Oh, that's funny. Because everybody needs that. Oh, funny. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn on Sculptris Pro for this. If I can. Might slow it down. Let's see. Make sure this does not have... Not double-sided. Okay. Some brushes do not work with Sculptris Pro, like the Move brush. So sometimes this is grayed out, and you're like, why can't I turn it on? Well, that's why. Ears, yeah, there are some kind of some tips and tricks you can use with ears to get yourself in the right ballpark. Okay, let's see. Yep. I gotta check this out. Oh yeah, Yeah, sorry, Dark. I haven't been able to comment on that yet. I'm back, so I plan on doing a lot of commenting soon. So he's one of my students, doing a fabulous job on that thing. And that's your low, right? Yeah, fully rigged. That's super cool. So how was your baking and all that? Did that go okay? I always worry because I need to put more information in that section of my course. That's the low in Marmoset. It looks fantastic. Okay. Isn't it? It's the best. It's the best for baking. You don't have to explode your mesh. Yeah, it's really good. Man, this is looking like a cartoon. Cartoon dinosaur. I'm gonna actually give him some divots where the nails are gonna go in. I need to do that on the toes too. Oh, that's totally fine. You figured out how to manually put baking groups. Oh, you manually did it. Okay. Yeah, that works too. So inside Marmoset, there's just these folders, and they give you kind of a template that says high and low. And if you just drop your high and low where they need to be, then and they match with the envelopes, then you're good to go. You made a tuk-tuk model. Nice. Quantum, it all depends on what you want to do personally. If you want to ultimately do realistic characters, then I would learn realistic characters out of the gate. If you want to ultimately do stylized characters, then focus on stylized characters. They're kind of different beasts in their own different way. So that's my advice to you, is focus on what you're interested in and learn that, because there's several different techniques involved in both, and they're different from each other. Now, I mean, they do cross over for sure. I mean, there is definitely, you know, realistic anatomy involved in stylized characters for sure, but there's just a kind of a different mindset in a way. You can do both and you can cross over, but sorry, I'm kind of focused here. Hey, the Babu, how you doing? That is a large question. If you're asking about my entire workflow, my answer, and I know it's kind of crappy, but I teach an online workshop and I show you exactly my workflow in that workshop, and I also stream my whole workflow on this channel and on the Pixelogic YouTube channel, and you can go back and you can watch my past streams and see exactly how I do it. Or if you're interested in the actual full-on instruction of it, you can go to my website, 3D Character Workshop, and sign up for my newsletter. The enrollment is closed right now, but I'll be opening it soon for summer. So if you're interested, you can check that out. Okay, I want to give this guy kind of a... He's got these really cartoon fingers now. But yeah, that's the light version of it is, you know, using primitive shapes to block out your characters, and then go from there, combine them together, and then build your clothing on top of that, stuff like that. That's kind of the light version. Whoops, that's not what I want. There, claw. Now for this, I like to switch over to the transpose line and actually bend this. Oh, come on. like a personal helper. Yeah, that's what outsourcing is for. Oh. Actually don't want Sculptress Pro mode on right now. Oh, thanks, Doug. Okay, thank you. Let me put this. Sorry, because it's my my image is so big. Thank you so much for letting me know. I should put my face over on the other side, huh? I could put this over here, but then it's over my my keyboard. I don't know if you guys like that keyboard or not to see what I'm pushing. But thanks. I'll move over here. I did an interview with my friend Ian Jacobs. He was another artist on Disney Infinity, and during the interview we were looking at his models and stuff, and for most of the time they were floating behind our camera that was showing us while I was talking. I'm like, dang it. Oh, thanks, Kenny, over on Facebook. You're welcome. Thanks for the comment. I appreciate it. Oh, hey, Paul. It's your bridge mug. Okay. Thanks, man. All right. Let's go back to Gizmo. Yeah, I have been experimenting with that recently. Especially like the Remesh by Union and Sculptress Pro. I use the Sculptress Pro mode very, very lightly, because it, like I've said in previous or in past streams, it can be dangerous, especially for new beginners, because Sculptress Pro mode, it wants you to put in the detail, like tons and tons of detail. And when you're first starting out, you want to keep your shapes clean, like you asked before. You want to keep them clean and, you know, not detailed. So you kind of want to avoid that, unless you're doing something small like these fingers and things like that. So it really depends on what you're doing. But I usually only use the Sculptress Pro mode in very specific times during the sculpt. kind of fun. They look less cartoony now. Look like chicken hands. I need to get some research and look and see where, like, if they have like a thumb or that, you know, that back claw thing like the chickens have. Let's see. I think Kevin put it on the other image here. Let's see. Yeah, so see this little chicken claw? I might do that. That's the thing with adding new images to Spotlight. It'll shrink the ones that are already there. Okay, maybe I'll add just that little tiny, just a little thumb thing sticking out. That's not really a thumb. Oh yeah, Sculptris Pro for sure. That would work. But that's the thing with Sculptris Pro is it will not fill in. How can I put it? I guess it won't connect two pieces and bridge them together. That's what ZRemesh by Union does. But you might get away with filling in a hole if it will actually get in there and, you know, put more faces and actually physically fill that hole. That's a good thing. That's a good advice. Thanks. Okay. Do you have a good program to do rigging for games? Limba over on YouTube. Yes, I will typically. I've done rigging in the past, and I've used both Maya for rigging and 3D Studio Max. I've used their biped, you know, inside of Max. I've used a character animation toolkit inside of 3D Studio Max, but typical bones and, you know, your regular rig inside of Maya. That's kind of the defaults. And I know you can do some rigging inside of stuff like Blender, you know. It all depends on where you're ending up and what the game engine needs. Okay, I'm going to turn Sculptris Pro mode back on. This is a perfect example of when to use Sculptris Pro. Like, it doesn't have a thumb right now, right? Or this thumb claw. So I can now pull it out. So I can use my snake hook brush, and as I pull it out, it's actually going to make some geometry. And I'm done. See ya. No, look at that weak. It's like, nyeh. Okay, so anyway, it's really good when you're wanting to add more geometry to something that doesn't have it, if that makes sense. And then I can push in. Let's see. You know, make the spot where the claw is going to go. Oh, Rufus Rough Cut, the Anthill Mob, right on. I could do that. Somebody asked about where do I get. Let's see. Does anyone have problems with hand-arm pain due to working with a tablet and pen all day? Yes, Don, that is a thing. It happens. Just make sure you're getting plenty of stretching, and that's a lot of the reason I'll go back to my mouse when I'm clicking and things like that, is just to create a different pose for my hand instead of just holding the pen all day long. So it'll kind of give me a change going back and forth. That's a great question. And yes, it totally happens. Let's see. Maybe you need to increase sensitivity of your tablet, push less on the pen. Yeah, but it's also just holding that pen that long. It's gonna make fatigue for sure. Also, when I'm streaming, this is not my typical setup when I'm sculpting. I do this so I can look at, you know, my upper screen, my lower screen and everything. My ultimate situation or setup, I guess, is with the Cintiq down in my lap. That way I can sit up straight with my back straight and sculpt. But when I have it like this, I'm kind of hunched over when I'm doing this, and that's not the best way to be. Also, this is a standing desk. I invested in a standing desk, so I can raise this up every once in a while and make myself stand and work that way. I've done some streams where I'm standing in the past, and that's kind of why, as my back will start to knot up, you know, and I'll want to stand for a while. I'll typically only stand for maybe 15-20 minutes, and then I'll sit back down again. But it's just kind of, it kind of gets you going, you know, like just up and down, and you're not just stuck hunched over in one place for so long. That's just a recipe for a bad back, you know. What kind of chair do I have? I have a Herman Miller, just because in my opinion, it's better to invest in a good chair than to pay a doctor to fix my back. That's my philosophy. I'm just going to give him a little thumb. Just a little thumb. Is it worth it? Oh, yeah. I don't know if you're asking me. You're asking somebody else. This chair is fantastic. And yes, I love the standing desk. It's totally worth it. So between, investing in a standing desk and investing in a good chair, those two things are going to save your back. Hand crank 3, that dude, Brian, that does it. Or Bridgemonger, that's enough, right? And then there's actually those things that you can put on top of a desk that isn't a standing desk that will make it a standing desk. It's hard when you have a giant heavy Cintiq to raise up on one of those things, but if you just have a monitor and a keyboard, you can buy just those little convertible module things that you can just set on your desk, and they do just fine. Just, whatever you can afford, that's what you get. So do I use my Cintiq buttons for my workflow, Renzer? I used to. When I had a 24 HD, the buttons, this is my personal opinion, and it's nothing against Wacom. I love Wacom, but in my personal opinion, the buttons on the HD24, they were physical buttons that were actually part of the Cintiq on either side. And when I had that, I actually would use my thumb and I'd hold my hand up here, and it was enough that I could use just the buttons on here. I could slide my keyboard away, and that's how I would work, and I loved it because it was in my lap. But this one, it uses one of those little remotes. I don't even know where mine is. Some people like those remotes, but for me, it has a hard time sticking magnetically to the surface, and I like to use one hand, or I know my friend Justin Goby Fields, he holds it in his hand down here on his lap, so he's not kind of stretching over. And what he does is he sets it to different key combinations. So like Control and Alt, Control plus Shift. I just haven't taken the time to set mine up properly. So right now I have a keyboard that's on a sliding tray underneath here. And I just kind of slide it so it's just revealing my Control, Shift, and Alt. And then I hit everything on my UI that's not Control, Shift, and Alt. So that's kind of how I have it set up. The reason I don't use the remote is because it slides around. I like to use my 3 fingers to do Control, Shift, and Alt, and if I'm doing that, it's sliding around. It's not sticking. I've actually thought of like using double stick tape or something to stick it better. So yeah, it turns itself off. I need to give it a second try. It's just so far it hasn't been the best for me. Okay. Hey, Brendan, what's up, man? How you doing? Brendan in his house. So Brendan's another streamer on here on Pixologic's Twitch channel. And hey, Brendan, when do you stream, man? He streams early in the morning when everybody's sleeping here in the U.S. like some crazy person. And Brendan does some fantastic realistic characters. So some of you guys were asking about realistic characters. Brendan's the one to watch. Whoa. Oh yeah, thanks. And happy Father's Day, dude. Happy Dad's Day. Yeah, Brennan throws down the knowledge bombs himself. Oh, 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific. You'll be on this Saturday. Are you doing twice a week? Or just Saturdays? All right, Dark. Thanks, man. Thanks for sharing your character. He's awesome. I got a comment on it in the student, whatever it's called. Gosh, I'm at a loss of words today. Community, student community. He posted that in the community, and I haven't had time for comments yet these last couple weeks. 3 streams this month: Saturday, Wednesday, and then okay. So you're doing like Saturdays and Wednesdays, or just special this month? Trying to figure out. I know this thumb is wrong. It's wrong. Yeah, I'll try to get to him, man. That's my plan. There's a lot I need to comment on there. My students have been busy. Busy. Awesome. Oh, every other Saturday. It's too slow, so you added a 3rd stream. Oh, okay. Very cool. Yeah, seems like I've been working on this dinosaur for years. Probably because I would get kind of sidetracked with it, and I'd do a head or something here and there. Okay, I need to make some webbing of some sort in here. They do. Oh, thanks, Moore. Here, I'll show you my headless dinosaur. No, he looks like this. That's what I got going so far. I need to finish fleshing him out. Yep, 1 year dinosaur. And then here, I'll show you the cowboy. Cowboy. I can delete these other 2 now. Delete. Let me save this. And I'll show you. Oh, thanks, man. Details are coming. He's my dragon dinosaur. This is based on a Kevin Keele drawing. My friend Kevin Keele. Okay, so let me go all the way up here, and the cowboy's all stuffed down underneath the the dinosaur. Let me turn off the dinosaur. I'll show you. Oh, whoops. Hit this. There we go. There he is. I spent a little time on him this morning, putting some colors in, fixing some of the proportions. So this is where he's at right now. I'm thinking about giving him some spurs. Oh, thanks. Yep, side effects, please. If I miss your questions, please ask them again. How do you group those claws together or separate them? Okay, so I use polygroups, essentially. Or I put them in their own subtool. Like, see these teeth? They're in their own subtool. These claws are in their own subtool. And these claws that I currently have, they're currently in the same subtool as the body. So I'll show you right now how to get them out and make them their own subtool. But first, let me turn off the cowboy. Get out of here, cowboy. There's his pistol. It turned out all right. I need to make the cuts and stuff in it. 3rd time's a charm. I'll see it eventually. Just keep asking. Sorry about that. Chat's been going quick today. I like it. But sorry, I didn't get to your question. Okay, so here are the claws, and you can see they're in different subtools right now, or subtools, polygroups. See how they're colored? And the way I typically do that, the way I typically put them in their own polygroups is I use auto group, especially if they are in their own islands. So like they're separate from each other, like his body is its own island. Each of these claws are in their own island. And what I'll do is I will go and use this menu that I have set up, and I will hit auto group right here. See that? Boom. And it sticks every single island into its own polygroup. The only problem with that is it doesn't work with symmetry. So auto groups does not work with symmetry. So the best way to fix it is using mirror and weld, which is right here, mirror and weld. Now, that actually mirrors and welds the entire thing, and it also keeps you symmetrical. So if you accidentally got off of symmetry, it'll keep you symmetrical. You can see it added this new line all the way down the guy. And now it's all symmetrical, and now our polygroups match. And now I can do is I can hide the body. Here, let's hide him. So just the claws are visible. And now what I can do, if I want all of my claws in one polygroup right now, I don't have to do it. But if I wanted to, I could hit Control W. Did you see that? That put all the claws in its own polygroup. So they're all green now. But I don't necessarily want that, so I'm going to Control Z back. And the body is hidden. So what I want to do to put these in their own subtool is do Split Hidden. And under my menu, it's right here under Subtool, Split Hidden. If you ever want to know where any of these things are on my menu, but over here in the tool menu, basically this is a shortcut to the tool menu. It's a menu that I built that allows me to access the most commonly used things when I'm working. So I've also put these headers above every group of buttons, so you as a viewer will know where you can find them underneath the tool menu. So if you look under Modify Topology, it doesn't show geometry, but under geometry you'll find Modify Topology. If you pop that open, see there's all this stuff here. And if you're working with the traditional user interface, you're going to have to dig through all this stuff to go through and you find like mirror and weld and delete hidden, that kind of stuff. And it will take, it'll slow your workflow down. That's why I made this menu where you can just pop to the most used items. So now what you can do is use Subtool, Split Hidden, you just hit that. And now you can see the claws are in their own subtool. That's why only the claws have colors, which are polygroups, and the body no longer has them. So, okay. Nail varnish. Beautiful nails. Learning so much today. Now I just need to open my ZBrush and learn it. Yep. Get to it. That's the best way to learn. I did a bad thing with mirror and weld. I mirrored the wrong side before I saved. Then it wouldn't let me go back. Oh, sorry, Scruffy. Oh, my goodness. What Scruffy's talking about is with mirror and weld, you can only mirror in one direction with mirror and weld. It only mirrors from screen left to screen right as you're looking at your screen. So it only mirrors from this side over to this side. So let's pretend that we had Activate Symmetry turned off and we were over here working on the foot. Like say we made another, here, we'll just make another toe sticking out right here, right? And you're going on in all this work and you're like, okay, and maybe you're zoomed up. You don't notice that your symmetry is turned off and you're working and working. You're like, okay, I'm ready. Oh, dang, I didn't have symmetry turned on, right? Sorry, I should have done it on the other side. Let me do it on the other side. Okay. So, say you're working on this side and you have this toe. You're like, okay, that's great. I like it. Well, now what? You're like, oh crap, I need to mirror and weld this. And if I mirror and weld it right now, that's going to copy everything on the left side to the right side. Screen left to screen right, not the dinosaur's left to his right. So if I click it right now, see that toe goes away because it mirrored this side to this side. So what you have to do first, and this is what Scruffy is saying he forgot, is if you open that menu again, if you go down to the bottom under deformation, there's this thing called mirror. If you click mirror, that's just going to mirror him in the X axis or whatever axis you have active right here. It's just going to mirror him. Now you have the geometry that you want to mirror on the correct side. So now you can go to mirror and weld, and you have the toe on both sides now, and you can go about your business. Good to go, right? So that's kind of how you recover from, oh crap, I'm working on the right side, screen right side of the model. So that's how you kind of recover from that. Okay. So yes, Caitlin is correct. Check your quick save, and there may be a state saved with the correct piece. And I can show you where that is. If you hit comma, it will bring up this open file under project, or maybe your tool menu is pulled up. If you come down here to where it says quick save right here, you can look and see your past models and click on one and open it and see if one of your past models has a quick save that has your old stuff that but before you made the mistake. That has saved me so many times. Yeah, that's a really good. You're older and wiser now. You never know. It might be there. Resculpted it. Yeah, sometimes you have to just resculpt it, and sometimes it'll be better when you resculpt it the second time because you already kind of know where you're going and not make similar mistakes. Okay. Oh, it was below the Z plane and mirror wouldn't work. All you have to do is the mirroring left to right should work no matter where it's at on the X axis, as long as, so if you turn on the floor, if you're mirroring from bottom to top, you can use mirror and weld across the Y axis or the Z axis or multiple axes. You can mirror just whatever way you want. The only thing you can't do is go from negative to positive if you're used to, say, mirroring in Maya or something like that. In Maya, you can switch it from negative to positive and mirror it that way. The only thing you can't do is do that in here. So that's where mirror comes in place. And you can mirror that on the X or the Y or the Z and get it to where you need it to be in order to mirror and weld it properly, if that makes sense. And delete your undo history if you want faster loads. So I don't know if you guys want me to go into this or not, but there's kind of a nice file practice you guys should use when you're using ZBrush. And here, let me save this. And you'll notice that I save tools. See, this is a Z tool. It's not a Z project. Okay. And the reason I do that is for that very reason that Bridgemonger's talking about. And that is, me personally, I don't like to save projects because they can get gigantic. Now, quick save will save projects. So if you go to this quick save, it will save projects, Z projects. And the reason why is because it wants to save your settings where you were at that specific time. It will save almost everything that you have here, which in turn will make your files gigantic. So every time I start using ZBrush, I mean every single time. So after I'm done here and I'm done streaming, I close down ZBrush and say tomorrow I want to work on this again. What I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll hit my comma key and I'll double click on my ruler under projects. See this ruler right here? I'll double click on that ruler and it will kind of reset. I'm not going to do it right now. Well, I can do it right now. I'll show you what happens. See all of these Z tools over here loaded up? You can load up a ton of Z tools at once and it will make your file gigantic. It will also save all of your history on every single subtool that you have in every single Z tool that you have loaded, which your files can get gigabytes and gigabytes in size. They can get huge. So what I do is I'll come in here and I'll double click on this ruler and it will reset everything. And it will bring in my ruler file and it will stretch the canvas back to the size that I want. It will load in my correct materials that I want, and it will start with my ruler file that I want. It's already set to go, and it does not get rid of my images, my spotlight, as you can see. It will get rid of those images if you close down ZBrush and reload it. So you'll have to reload those images if you're going to start over again. But now you'll notice that I don't have any subtools loaded. It just cleaned them on out. So what I need to do is go to Load Tool, go to my last tool, open it, and here you go. That is how I work every single day when I work in ZBrush. I do not save Z projects because they get so gigantic. Anyway, there's my rant for the day, I guess. Okay. Let's see where we're at. We got about 30 minutes left or so. Hey, Brendan. Is that how you work, Brendan? I don't know. Or do you save projects with your stuff? The files get gigantic. Okay, I want to... I kind of want to put this kind of this ridge down his back before I build the saddle. I'm going to use this pinch brush and turn Sculptris Pro mode off. You brute force things with Z tools. That's the way to go, man. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Thank you for backing up my my rant. Okay, let's see how that ridge looks. Yeah, that works. Kind of does look like a Spinosaurus, huh? A little bit. I'll have to look one of those up for reference. I do need to put some more anatomy in these appendages. Is the stream dead, Claire? I don't know. She said it's dead over on YouTube. Hope not. I know there's a big lag between Twitch and YouTube. YouTube is slower by quite a bit, like 15 seconds or so. Because I'm answering Brendan's questions pretty quick because he's asking them in Twitch. Is why you people over on YouTube are not seeing those questions yet. Probably, unless it's crashed. Oh, dang. Come over to Twitch, YouTubers. Like they can hear me. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of kind of a dragon as well. Like his face. Yeah, Bridgemonger, I would suggest using Z tools. That'll strip out your history as well. The big lag. Sorry, YouTubers. Come over to Twitch. The water's fine. Here. Twitch.tv. I don't think they can slash Pixologic. The links don't work on YouTube either. Looks like the day YouTube died. I'm just working this tail a little bit. It's kind of fat towards the end there. Okay, and for the saddle, I'm going to build the saddle really quick. It's got two parts to it. There's kind of the, you know, on horses, it's called a saddle blanket. And we'll just call it that here too. You mentioned something last time about there being a difference between appending a subtool and inserting one. Can you touch on that one again, please? Oh, yeah. So the only difference is appending anything in your subtool list will actually drop that subtool to the very bottom of the list. So that's right here, append. Then if you use insert, that will actually put any object or tool or anything that you are appending, it's the same kind of a thing that you're adding it to your subtool list, it's going to put it right underneath your currently active subtool. So right now I have the body active. If I was to append something, here I'll append a star. So, well, let's do insert. Let's use insert star, this Polymesh 3D star. See, it put it right underneath that body. So that's the only difference. Insert will put it in the list, and append will put it at the bottom. Okay, let's delete this guy. Oh dang! Everybody disconnected over at YouTube. Wah, wah, wah. Oh man. You didn't know that, Brennan? Stick around, my friend. I don't know. It's funny too. ZBrush is so gigantic. You always learn new stuff. No matter how long you've been using it, there's always new things. It's crazy. I'm gonna make some sockets for these nails. They just kind of look stuck on there. Let's get them integrated. You just switched over from YouTube? Oh, dang it. Yep. I was just watching Eamon. He streams right before me. And Eamon he's really, really good at 3D printing. And he does stylized characters as well. And I learn stuff from him all the time as far as 3D printing goes. It's really interesting. So yeah, just so you know, if you guys want to watch him, he streams an hour. Well, he streams a couple hours before I do on Mondays. And I love the ZBrush community. Everybody's good friends. I've seen Eamon at the all the events. He hangs out. Same with Brendan. We all hang out, drink beers, talk about polygons. It's good times. And I hope some of you guys will make it out to the ZBrush Summit this year. I always try to go. It's one of the yearly highlights. I actually like to make the skin kind of puff up around the nails too. Let's get the nails in there so we can see them. We'll put them back into place. Jabbering nerds, right? Limba, I don't know if you can still see me, but come on over to Twitch if YouTube's still having problems. If you can. It's twitch.tv/pixellogic. Dang YouTube. Why does activating local transformation change the perspective? I guess I don't understand what that means. Alexander is asking a question over on Facebook. He's asking how to optimize a model for a rig. The best way to do that, Alexander, is to retopologize it. So that essentially means redraw the geometry on the top of your high resolution geometry. So if you look up retopology on Google, you'll see what I'm talking about. There we go. It's a little better. Get it integrated. So it actually looks like the claws are growing out of his feet. And I do want to put that extra little toe. Oh, it's getting an internal server errors? Maybe it's YouTube. Too many people watching YouTube videos, guys. On a Monday. Nobody's working today. Everybody's watching YouTube. Making their servers go down. Okay, I'm gonna make this little side toe. Get a case of the side toe. Should get that looked at. Is it male or female? I don't know. I don't know. I guess female, because I'm probably not gonna model junk in there. There you go. Sounds like YouTube's having problems. I know, Resner, right? It does not identify. Jules, either way. He's got a pooch. There you go. See, pooch. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. I'll leave it up to the viewer's discretion. All right. All right, Syed, this might help you out. You were asking about how to split claws and stuff out. I want to duplicate one and put it up to make that chicken toe up here. I always use, the correct anatomy terms when I'm calling stuff out, like chicken toe. When we're going to put the chicken toe up there, how do you do this? You mask out what is not the claw that you want to duplicate. So mask everything, leave that claw, and I'm going to duplicate it. So what I do is this will work with anything that's unmasked. So I want to duplicate that, and it doesn't matter where your gizmo is in space. It could be clear over here. It doesn't matter. If you hold down Control and click on any of the move tools, any of the move part of this gizmo, it's going to duplicate it. See that? Ooh, duplicate. That's how you do it. Just hold down Control, use move to duplicate. And one thing is to avoid crossing the center line if you can help it, like this, and then letting go, because now if you try to move it, well, it's still hidden, but typically it'll start to stretch and be weird if you try and move it apart. So looks like YouTube's kind of having some issues still. Okay, so let's duplicate this. I am going to move the gizmo back. You can also hold down Alt and tap this kind of Google Maps icon right here. I'm sure Pixelogic loves me calling it the Google Maps icon. Anyway, if you Alt click that, it's going to center your gizmo in the currently unmasked portion of your objects. So now you kind of have the gizmo in the middle, and you can rotate it and move it. And it'll kind of get your object to be, or your gizmo to be, a little more similar to what you may be used to in other programs, such as Maya. There we go. You can just get that chicken toe into place. Chicken toe. Hey, Limba, are you back over on YouTube? Sorry about the trouble. Sounds like YouTube's having issues. Don't cross the streams. Don't cross the center stream, man. That usually happens with eyeballs, especially in stylized characters, because the eyeballs are gigantic. So a lot of times the actual eyeballs will cross the center inside the head, so you don't see it until you like hide the head. And you're like, oh man, my eyeballs have been crossed. So not crossed like this, but crossed like into each other, So, yeah, it's something to look out for. And it doesn't matter, honestly. I leave them crossed except for towards the end, I'll rebuild them typically in, you know, in another modeling program like Maya or something like that. 4.2 million. Oh, your Polygon count. Hey, Limbo, welcome back. Sorry you lost me for a second. I'm glad you found me again. I once was lost. Now I'm found. Brendan, I love your stream because you do these little funny things like I do. Like singing and stuff. Oh, cool. Side effects. That's awesome to hear. And you're welcome. Brendan, we should do a multi-stream. Oh yeah, YouTube went to lunch, huh? It's like, yeah, we're done. I need to figure out how to do a multi-stream. I know you can do like Skype and then broadcast that, you know, but I'm not exactly sure how that would work. We've got to figure it out. All right, these toes have got to be puffier. I feel like an art director. Puffier toes! Oh yeah, I think, Scruffy, I think, did the poly, or flip normals guys do that? No, some streamers on Pixelogic's stream do that. I'm trying to remember their names. There are two of them that do that. YouTube's unionized. That's the best thing I've heard all day. They got to take a break. They got to go hold their shovels. Oh yeah, Jose, thanks. Jose and who does it with him? Trying to remember there's two of them. I haven't watched it yet. I need to. Yeah, that'd be fun. Okay. How are those toes? Those are pretty fun, huh? Jose Rosales and Oscar Trejo. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. I wish I had that memorized, but I don't. Okay. There we go. I'm pretty happy with those feet. Oh, ridiculous times. Yeah. Hey, Francisco over on Facebook. How many divided is this model? So this model is actually not subdivided. It's currently sitting at 210 active points as far as the body goes. What's up, Hiram? How's it going, man? Thanks for dropping by. I catch your streams once in a while. I just haven't really piped up. But thanks for dropping it in. Okay. Let's add a little bit more anatomy here to these arms. Just pinch these. What I like to do with elbows, especially when I'm going to pose it, is really push it in and then pinch it and then inflate it back together. Then it'll create like that elbow crease. Thanks, Moonmix. Like this. Well, without Sculptress Pro turned on. There you go. See, that's kind of a light version of it, but it'll kind of create that elbow crease. Sounds like elbow grease. Let's see. So basically, what will you do after adding stuff with Sculptress Pro? Just Z-remesh it to the desired poly count? Yes. All right, Brendan. Thanks for stopping by, man. Yeah, we'll have to catch up again. So yeah, what I'll do typically is I will duplicate this mesh, then I'll z-remesh that, then I'll subdivide it up a couple times, and then I will project the detail back onto that newly subdivided mesh. Oh, excuse me, goodness. If that makes any sense. Okay. I'm just going to make it puff up where that strap is pushing down into his neck. I'm just starting to add little details here and there. I really like this fill brush. Oh, come on, saving project. This fill brush will allow you to see how that armpit's kind of connected back there. To add that little connection point. Pretty cool. And you can also cut in with this fill brush. It's not just a fill brush. So you can kind of cut in with it and then smooth out the bottom side, and you can make little ridges, things like that are fairly simple. Like if I wanted to create one along here, whoops, and then just smooth this out, you know, to kind of continue that along if I wanted to. It depends on what kind of detail you want. I don't know if I want to keep that or not. Okay. Then I can go to the head side and do the same thing using the inflate to inflate it up over the leather strap. Get that pinch look. It's pretty fun. Okay, let's see. I have a couple more minutes. I'm going to hurry and make this blanket, like this saddle blanket. And it's the same thing I do every single time. I just grab this topology brush and just draw it on the surface with symmetry on. Okay, and then I just kind of guess. It doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe right here. It's probably too wide, but that's okay. Then you have to make a line that goes down the center in order for this to work. And that's where a Cintiq comes in handy, is when you're drawing curves like that, when you have to be super precise. That's essentially where your speed comes from, you know. Hey, Tench, how's it going? I'm glad you could catch me. Thanks for stopping by. All right. And then you can divide this up as much as you want. And wherever these lines cross, it's going to make a polygon. And you can just hold down Alt and drag and clear it up. Clear up those extra hangy bits. Thanks, Mortar. I appreciate it, man. Spam as much as you would like. Okay, and the only kind of setback or drawback or whatever you want to call it to doing it this way is after you draw the lines like this, you can't really go in and adjust it in this state. So I just like to get it close. You can see how some of my lines aren't perfectly aligned. They're a little bit crooked here and there, and that's okay. I just want to get the geometry there so then I can edit it. And typically what people do at this point is they'll get their brush size like this, and they'll just click on the surface, and boom, you have instant thickness with creased edges and polygroups. It's ready to go. But now if I wanted to edit the surface, I'm not going to be editing the surface on the other side, if that makes sense, because it's the envelope is too far away. So what I will do instead is I will turn my draw size down to 1, like this. Then I will tap on the surface, so it will give me a single-sided plane. It does not have any thickness. And since this is still part of the dinosaur, I need to get that split into its own subtool so then I can now edit it. And how to do that is just open up the menu and hit Split Unmask Points, which will split anything that is not masked. So you saw that it automatically masked the body. And then you can just hit the arrow down key on your keyboard, and arrow up and arrow down, all that does is it goes through the different subtools, like so. It just kind of goes up and down through the different subtools. And when you split something into a new subtool, it's automatically going to put it below the subtool that you're currently working on. So just make sure you hit the down arrow and it'll automatically select it. Then you don't have to sit and try and select that thing that is hidden inside the body of this dinosaur, so it's hard to grab. So that's what I do there. Okay. Now the center line is creased. I don't want that, so I'm just going to hit uncrease all, which is right here. Now, since it's a single-sided piece of geometry, I can come in here with the move brush and straighten out these crooked lines, just like this. Boom, boom, and just kind of even them up. And it's not snapping to any surface or anything because it's hidden. It doesn't really work that way. It's not like retopping in other programs. It doesn't snap to the surface. The only time it snaps to the surface is when you're drawing it. So you kind of have to be careful there. And Tench, I have not. Is it good? I need to go see that movie too. Okay, so see how that's nice and even now? There you go. Yes, the pop-up menu is included in my custom user interface. Now, just make sure that after you download it, this user interface, and you get it installed, make sure you assign a hotkey to that custom menu. It's right here. See how it's very, very top left corner. It's called 3DCW. That's 3D Character Workshop. So if I click on it, there it is right here. You have to assign that to a hotkey. By default, it's not assigned. All you have to do is go to, let's see, is hold down Control plus Alt and then click on it. So see, Control plus Alt, click on it. Now it says, press any key combination to set up a hotkey. And I set it to 2 on my keyboard. Then I will assign this back button on my pen to 2. So when I click it, it'll open up that menu. Then after you've assigned a hotkey and you close ZBrush for the first time, it'll ask you, do you want to save hotkeys? And you say yes, and then it will be set from then on. So Demon Eddie, I do. Mordecai just posted it. If you go up the stream, I don't know if you barely just joined us, but if you scroll up the chat, if you're on Twitch, you can see all the links that Mordecai posted. But it's yep. Thank you very much. That is my ArtStation, and I also teach this stuff online. I have an online course. It's called 3D Character Workshop. You can find that over on 3dcharacterworkshop.com. It is currently closed for enrollment, but I will be opening it for enrollment for summer very soon. So when you sign up to get my custom user interface, that will also put you on my newsletter, and you will be notified when the enrollment is going to be open again. So looking forward to that. And I'm going to be updating my course. My course is lifetime access, so once you pay for it, you're in there for life. And I constantly update it to the newest, latest, greatest stuff. There has been kind of a lull in the updates because I've been doing some contract work for Blizzard, and I just finished that up. So I will be getting back onto updating the course, and I'm excited about getting that done. So let's see. I have an Alt-Shift on my pen and then use them so much. I shrunk the UI scale and put more on the UI. Yeah, you can do. So this is just a start. This user interface, you can start with this and make it your own. You just go to Preferences, Config, and then you hit Enable Customize right here. And then you can do whatever you want to this interface. And then when you're done, just if you like it, just say Store Config or Save User Interface. And you're not going to hurt anything because you can always go to Preferences, Restore Standard or Restore Custom, and it'll get you back to here. Yeah, it's pretty good. Let's see. Blink twice if what you've been doing for them revolves around the Hearthstone animations. No, I can tell you I've been working on an Overwatch skin. So I'm not really announcing it yet, but yeah, I did an Overwatch skin, and it should be out sometime soon. Hopefully, I can't say what it is or who it is or any of that stuff. I'm under NDA, but yeah, I've been working on that, and I'm also wanting to take what I've learned from the Blizzard pipeline and add that to the course in some way or another. So, anyway. Yeah, good times. It was fantastic. That's kind of why I've been a little absent on my student community here and there because I've been super busy on doing that stuff. So I'm always trying to learn more and then teach more. Learn more, teach more, learn more, teach more. That's kind of what the cycle I'm in now that I'm doing the teaching online. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining us today. Joining us, me and my other people. But joining me today and spending your time with me, it's always fun. It's always great. And thank you, Pixelogic, for allowing me to stream on here. I appreciate it so much. And if you are brand new to the stream and you want to try ZBrush out, you can go to pixelogic.com and download a demo. There is also a link at the bottom underneath this stream on Twitch. You can click it and get it there. I think it's a 45-day trial. There's also a free Sculptress Pro if you just want to try out sculpting. And there's also a ZBrush Core. ZBrush Core is kind of a light version of ZBrush. If you're just getting into it and you don't want to make the full commitment of the full price of ZBrush, you can get ZBrush Core for $100. It's pretty much ZBrush, but it's lacking some of the features that but it's a full sculpting program that you can get in there and you can try and see if you like it before you make the full commitment, and the price of Core can go towards the price of full ZBrush. So it's a fantastic way to go if you're wanting to try it out. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining, and I will see you at the exact same time next Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So thanks everybody for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Take care.